a nice little integration we got going on here.
When was the last time somebody summoned, other than this, summoned music and you spoke about it? Other than Don, we're going to do right now.
Last time somebody said, hey, check out this song.
Yeah, and then you spoke about it with somebody.
Oh, dude, this is really the only place I get to do this. I mean, I have friends who like music, but it's never like a long dialogue. It's like might be a couple back and forth sentences over text, but like it's never like a, because like I always encourage all of my friends to like just send me music, just because I just want to like get different input, just because like the algorithms will be like, oh, we know who you are, bro. Here's definitely what you like, right? And then I just like to bypass that as often as I can with some different influence. For instance, this is so my daughter Ari, she comes home and she tells the Google, hey, play music. So she literally was just like, hey, Google, play music. And Google, because it knows what we've listened to, literally it was like listening to like Rick and Mary, the playlist, where it was like, hood music, Afro beats, house music, and then like the Beatles, John Lennon, like Fleetwood Mac. So it's like a mix between, my wife and I,
gotcha.
Right, essentially. So it was an interesting mix, to say the least.
Nice.
What about you, Xander?
Well, when it comes to music, I have a chat group on Instagram with two friends of mine, Shannon and Pando. Shout out to both of those guys. We usually just kind of send music. Hey, check this out.
Yeah.
It could be old. It could be, usually it's new. We usually send each other music, then we speak about it. Shannon in particular has a very interesting sound when it comes to music. He likes, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I like about when I speak with Shannon with music is that his ear is very open to a lot of music. Even to the point that I'm like, I don't understand why you like this, but speaking to some people, how music hits some other people, you can kind of appreciate. I was like, I see what you mean. I mean, it hit me the same, but I can see where you're coming with that. So he's one of those guys. I'm sure you know how Shannon is, but he's very, when it comes to music, is particular. So yeah, that's usually when I talk about music is between the guys, in the chat.
I dig it.
Let me ask you something, Shannon.
What's up?
Stay in the music chat that we have going on. There was a question that was asked a few months ago that I didn't really understand, but let's talk about it anyways. The option was if you had a chance to have a lunch date with Jay-Z or $500,000. I'm sure you guys heard that question before.
Rings a bell.
Yeah. So that was the question. The option is you take a date or a lunch date with Jay-Z or $500,000. Shannon, I'm going to start with you. What are you picking and why?
$500,000.
Why?
I think Jay-Z would have a lot of insight if you have lunch with him. But I doubt that you won't be able to find 90% of that already on the internet. The other 10% would be kind of like personal experiences. So I think I would bet on myself and be like, give me the 500,000. Let me learn what's out there, so what I can do. And then I'm sure I can make up the other 10% that I'm not sure of, that, the unknown.
Yep.
So yeah.
So like the money. Rick,
I respect it. I would be inclined to agree with Shannon here. I don't know that I'm going to get at least $500,000 worth of value from Jay-Z. I respect what he. Let me put it to you a different way. I would rather have lunch with Gary V.
Okay, fine. You know what? Forget Jay-Z. Put the most influential person that you could ever imagine.
Sure. Money. I would have lunch or dinner or whatever the hell with Gary V, because like I feel like he would provide a significant amount of insight, right? Especially if you have like someone's attention for that long. Because like, meeting a Jay-Z or a Gary V, for instance, on the street or like for just a 5-minute quick intro, you're only going to get like a nugget, maybe. That's it. But like, we're going to break bread and talk. Like you could really dive into some conversations there. And I feel like that would be valuable.
Okay.
But like, I don't know, if the question is about Jay-Z specifically, then.
Let's just say forget Jay-Z, influential person in your life or the money. Shannon, back to you too. Forget Jay-Z.
I'm still taking the money.
Okay. For the same reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rick.
I mean, I can appreciate it. It's not like I wouldn't love $500,000.
No,
but
just
yeah,
you're picking the person. Got
I'll probably in that particular example, I might, because it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, it's a million reasons why you may or may not need the money, right?
I get it. But let me ask you this: what can you do more with $500,000 in your insight that you have to this date, or whatever you're gonna gain from this lunch date?
Yeah.
What do you think you could do more with?
I would hope that it's a tough question. It's a tough question. I mean, at a fundamental level, right? Like we could all, each one of us could blow 500K like in a heartbeat.
Yes.
In a heartbeat, we could just gone, right? Versus like, oh, let me have this lunch date with, you know, I don't know, the Winklevoss twins, you know, like all these, you know, different people, like just give me some data that I can then use that to kind of level myself up and then hopefully try to make my own money, right? Apply the things that you learned from the person.
I understand.
Yeah.
Just to go back on that, I'm trying to go back actually to Shannon, is that I will take the money, not because, oh yeah, the money. It's just because I will take that money, take part of that money and use it to learn as much as I can from whatever I could have with that lunch date, whoever it was. Because like Shannon said, a lot of this information is on the internet. Nowadays, a lot of it is on the internet. I'm not saying I'm going to go on the internet and just search it, but I might pay somebody that can give me a lot of good insight that I can keep. A person that, I don't know, let's say, for example, all right, I get this money and I want to start a business with photography. I'm going to go to Shannon because he's been doing this for a while.
Yep.
Here's some money. Let me follow you. Let me see how you work. Let me, you know, and from there, hey, I got some more money. Do you want to this and that? Do you want to collab? Do you want to, let's do this with that? I feel like with the money, I will have more doors opening than with whatever that person told me that, hey, this is good advice. But in the real world, if you don't have the capital, there's only so far you can go.
Yep.
So that's just.
What if at the lunch date you got a check for $5 million because you took the lunch date? Hey, you know what? I want to invest in you. I'm going to write you a check. It's a dice roll, guys.
It is.
It's a dice roll.
No, it is.
Door number one or door number two.
Man, at the end of the day, man, I'm taking the 500,000.
I'm still doing it.
And if I really want to meet with Jay-Z or whoever it is, I'm like, yo, can I meet with this person for $20,000? Can I get a lunch date? I'll pay the $20,000 and I still have $480,000 to make my investment.
I like it.
I mean, yeah.
Here's a deposit.
Hey, can we have a one-on-one consultation? I'm in there.
Yeah. I'll pay you your royalty. Yeah.
Anyways.
We're here.
Like
yes.
Hustle.
Shannon, I feel that you have some stuff to talk about. I don't know. Maybe something is on your mind.
I was telling Xander earlier, nothing gets me more excited to instantly purchase than flights of anything.
A traveler here.
So you're an impulse flight buyer.
No, not airplane flights.
Oh,
flights, like flights of
coffee.
I'm
sorry. Yes.
I also went there.
Flights of drinks. Got it. Okay, so go ahead. What do you mean exactly? Go ahead. Keep talking about it.
Listen, if I go to any restaurant, and I order, say, coffee, and what flavor you want, I'm like, oh, we have a flight of 5 different coffees you can taste. Once you said flights, sold.
Okay.
I need to know nothing after that. Instant yes.
Okay. So you're the type of guy that rather than have a flavor, you rather have multiple flavors.
I want to try what you guys have.
Gotcha.
$75 for the flight? I'm in. Sold. Okay. Bring it.
Let me get a taste.
Any flight. They should offer more flights everywhere. Egg roll flights, quesadilla flights.
Egg roll flights.
Wow.
Anything.
I like what's happening here. Let me get a flight of cameras.
Give me a flight of cameras. I'm sold.
Yeah, I can appreciate some flights. It's definitely a nice way to sample life. You know, one sip at a time.
Sample life.
Hey,
it's all about sampler. I'll take a sampler. You said that right?
Yes. I do. He's a sucker for flights. I'm a sucker for sampling when it comes to foods.
It's the same thing.
Oh,
yeah. So the drinks,
okay.
when it comes to foods, if the sample, I just like to try different things from the place. So I usually like to get the sample.
That Cajun chicken from the Holyoke Mall back in the day when they used to offer them things on the toothpicks.
Yes, the samples.
It used to be sample. Always, bro.
Yeah.
Used to be in there.
Yes.
I used to walk by twice.
You got to. Or Costco. They be hitting you with those samples, bro.
I'm not a Costco person.
I like Costco for the things that are very boring. Paper towels, toilet paper, like Ziploc bags, like stuff that you're like, you buy it once and you're good for like half a year. Solid half a year. So, but that's about it. I don't really buy food there. Although lately I'll be buying some like just quick ready-made stuff.
Like
what? For example, some tortilla soup. I like some tortilla soup. I make tortilla soup often at home. I was like, let me try this. Solid.
It was frozen?
Nah, it's just in the fridge section, and it comes in a 2-pack. It's like one of those little plastic containers. Warm it up on the stove. Bada bing. Throw some chips in there. Good to go. The broccoli cheddar soup. They got all kinds of stuff that you could just throw in the oven or throw in the microwave. Low maintenance cooking, right? Instead of having to like, let me cut up these vegetables and let me blah, blah, blah. I don't know, man. As I gotten older, I just have less patience for cooking. Honest to God. I'm just kind of like done cooking unless I absolutely have to.
You know what turns me out too?
Turns you out, please.
Chicken pot pies.
Wow.
You be in there? You like some chicken pot pies?
Listen, the Marie Calendar ones in the frozen section. I'm in there. I'm buying the 3-pack.
Is that the green box?
The green box.
Yeah, the green box.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
You don't like chicken pot pies?
I do not like chicken pot pies. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is.
I think I'm the minority in this, but that thing be
No,
slapping.
I think Rick likes them. I don't like them.
Oh, I would put down some chicken pot pies.
Yeah. It's like an American staple, and I'm not sure I'm down. Nothing wrong.
When's
with
the last time you had it?
A chicken pot pie or that?
Chicken pot pie.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
With the crispy top. Dig in. It's like soup. It's like soup. It's like
it's disgusting.
Creamy chicken soup.
I'm good. You know what? You guys enjoy that. You guys enjoy it. There's just so many other things I could have than a chicken pot pie.
I mean, yes.
But I understand.
But chicken pot pie is there too.
If it's there, I'm going to somebody's house. Hey, I made some chicken pot pie. Would you like some? Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll have a piece. I will not eat it all. I'll tell you that much.
Let me get a slice. Slice of that chicken pot pie.
Yeah.
It is never a slice, to be fair. It's like
the whole thing.
Sure. If it's depends on the size. Yeah, the little ones.
Yeah.
Those are.
But I'm good.
Yeah. All
right. What else? What was something that happened that's memorable to you in the past? Because it's been a while. This past couple weeks, 3, 4, whatever, how many weeks it's been. Anything memorable that has happened to any of you guys?
I went to Chicago. Chicago's dope.
How is Chicago?
The Windy City. It was cold AF.
Never been there.
Me neither.
As a guy who doesn't frequent Chicago, and the few times that I've gone there, hotel, event, right? So never like exploring Chicago.
Gotcha.
This time, I got a little bit more of a taste of Chicago. Not that much more, but a little bit more. It's nice. It's a whole thing unto itself. Like definitely you get like certain areas, you get like that crowded New York type of thing, but also it's not New York, it's Chicago, right? And so the buildings are different. The bridges, like I posted it, like it really did feel like I was in Gotham, because like I've watched The Dark Knight so many times now that like so much of that city feels familiar, especially the part that I was staying in, like the kind of like downtown area.
Nice.
It's like just like lots of bridges crossing the river. It's nice. It's a nice look. Nightlife was dope. Went to Brazilian steakhouse, the Fogueria.
Oh, the Fogo de Chao?
Yeah, Fogo de Chao. Yeah, that was cool. I'd never been to one of those. Green means go, red means stop. I didn't know that. So they just keep bringing meat to your table. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
nonstop meat.
Ew. How was it? What was the experience though? Of like,
so the restaurant was packed, dude. Like this was like, whatever. Without getting into the weeds, this was like the company like getting together after the trade show. So it was like we were probably like 40, 50 heads deep. We had like one half wall of the restaurant, and then like another half a table, like a little chunk. But it was like there were multiple groups that were very large parties. So it was like packed in there. So we're like, maybe we won't do this again because it's not really conducive to like conversating because the table's so long. So you can't really talk to anybody except your immediate circle of people. And you can't really get around and mingle because there's not a lot of room for that. Anyway, that aside, experience was great. Food was great. The appetizers were great. And shout out to the guy who was the shots salesman who kept coming around with the Don Julio 1942. He was just like, y'all want some? And people just kept doing rounds. I'm like, I'm not paying for it, so just keep them coming, I guess.
The shots of Don, what, the company paid for it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that bill they've been racking that bill up.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because it was like, it wasn't like immediately apparent, right? Because it was like you order your drink, the waiter brings your drink, and then the apps come out, and it's just whatever. Like, and then the meat keeps coming. Pause. But the drink guy would come around with his fancy little glasses and his in the booze, and it would be like kind of point them, you want one? And then people.
So they just had pre-made drinks?
No. It was just the
shots.
cups. There were cute little cups. Think of like a miniature wine glass.
Gotcha.
And then it had a salted rim, and he would just, and then cheers, everybody.
Boom. Fun.
Yep, it was a good time. And then went to a club after that. People were saucy at this point. People were saucy. You guys know how white folk get when they get saucy. They get lit. I mean, whatever. I wasn't like lit, but I was like feeling nice.
They do get crazy.
They do get crazy.
In an up way.
So we go to this club, and it was like one of the worst cover bands I've ever heard. But it was like they knew they were bad, but they were like, fuck it, man. We're just going to do it anyway. And they were having a blast, and everybody was into it.
Oh, yeah.
So
yes, go ahead.
So I'm there, and I'm like, I've come a long way, you guys. Like, I'm like social butterfly at these things. So like, I literally was just walking through the club. Like, it was so crowded. And I'm just walking through the club, like just taking it in. And I'm just talking to random people. Like, I pull up to a couple. I'm like, are you guys enjoying this? And he's like, no, man, they're terrible. And then we just had a good laugh about it. And then I stopped somebody else. I'm like, so do you think, like, are they doing this? Are they bad on purpose? Like, are you enjoying this for real? And she was like, no, I think you have to ironically enjoy it to actually get, a good experience out of it. I'm like, yeah, I can appreciate that. Like, ironically enjoy how bad they are. Whatever, man. It's the shit you do when you're out at these things. You just
was this band like the Wedding Singer type of band? Remember the Wedding Singer?
Yeah. Not the Wedding Singer specifically, but more the other guy who cusses a lot. You know what I'm talking about? He was in Starsky and Hutch. He's made a couple cameos.
The Wedding Crashers, that other movie?
Yeah, he might have been in the Wedding Crashers. I forget.
Wilson Owen, I believe his name is.
Yeah, Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson, sorry.
Yeah, he was in there. Anyways, back on track.
Yes.
To your point, yeah, they were kind of like a very mid band, but like they had extreme heart, which made it enjoyable. That's what really made it enjoyable.
They were committed.
They were committed. Yeah,
I can appreciate that.
And then I was just telling people, because there was like a bar when you walk in, and there was a bar at the back of the club, and so I was like, all the people in the front of the bar, I'm like, yo, if you go back there, there's way less of a line. And then I did an Irish exit and I went back to my hotel.
A what? An Irish exit?
Yeah.
What is that again?
Irish exit? You don't know about that? You know about it.
I forgot.
Irish exit, when you just dip. Don't tell anybody.
Oh, I'm like, where's Rick?
Yep.
Gone. Who knows what happened to Rick? Tomorrow morning, bright and bushy tailed. Hey guys, what's going on? And then everybody's like, "Oh, God, I had too much to drink." I'm like, "Yeah, well, been there, my friend."
I don't know if I've ever done an Irish exit,
dude. I'm
plenty of times.
Depending on the situation, like
I get caught.
For me, that was a classic. Like I knew as soon as I walked in there, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely dipping." As soon as I walked in there, I'm like, I'm not trying to be in no club, crowded ass.
Yeah,
it was just too many people there, too many people, and not the right. Like if I'm gonna be at a club, like I gotta have the right people around me, and it's just like these were not like
the randoms.
They were, coworkers, like which I appreciate, but also like I didn't want like there's like a certain balance of like, okay, I can't go crazy because HR, right? But also like you gotta have a certain level of professionalism at these things.
So you're talking about a sense of code switching of the sense. You haven't fully code switched. You're still on corporate road.
You only get full on Rick, and even like some people from work kind of like low key find out about this podcast, and I'm like, just keep it on the low. Don't tell anybody. Like, because I'm okay with people finding this accidentally, but I'm never gonna be like, yo, check out my podcast, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm never gonna.
I never been that guy either.
I'm never gonna do that.
Start passing out business cards. Hey, check out my podcast.
Yeah, you trying to come on, trying to be a guest?
Yeah, if you find it, you find it.
That's
like, hey.
Yes, I'm all about like the serendipity of like, oh shit, you have a podcast? I'm like, yeah, I do, but don't tell anybody. It's not really
serendipitous.
Yes, you already know, Shannon. You already know, baby. Anyway, yeah, that was Chicago. It was a good time.
Nice.
That's enough about me. What about you, Xander? You've been asking a lot of questions over here.
Yeah, what is the question? Yeah, you have a question for me?
Yeah, the question is, did you want to welcome our guest to the Offbeat podcast?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
I completely lost that one.
Oh man! Oh, I set him up so nice, and he didn't take the bait.
Did not.
Wow, that was so good.
Lost that one.
Oh man!
Not yet.
Oh my gosh! Wow,
Wow, did not see that coming.
Yep, didn't catch that one.
Go ahead, welcome to him, Rick.
Nah, Xander got it.
Yeah. So, welcome. I'm kidding.
It's too much pressure. Do you want to play some music?
I got you.
All right.
So, welcome to the Offbeat podcast, where we speak about music and everything around it. Today, we got to hear my friend to the side, Mr. Rick Diaz.
Hey guys.
Rick Diaz.
And that gentleman over there, Mr. Shannon O.
Yeah.
A little O face? O?
Yeah.
O face.
Yeah.
You know who I am. Xander with an X.
Xander with an X.
Today,
X.
we got a special podcast brewing. Quick question, guys. Excuse me. What's one thing you could say that you enjoyed doing this week? This past week that you really enjoyed, whether it's with yourself, alone, family, obsessed with someone, anything, musically, hobby-wise.
I got one.
Please.
I got one. Over the course of the last week, did a ton of driving. Ton of driving.
Yeah.
It's nice to. I always enjoy. Shout out to Instagram, right, for facilitating these conversations of just like putting a thing out there and seeing what kind of feedback you get back, just for like that, like conversational. That's interesting that you have that take. But for me, I think it was just like, I don't know. I guess for better for worse, kind of being back on the road and having like a little bit of like mental time to myself. Right. Something, and it's not to say that I don't when I'm home, but there's something about being on the road and driving for long periods of time that like allows you to kind of just block out some of the noise and just kind of be a little bit introspective a little bit. So it was nice to kind of reacquaint with that, even though, yeah, it's a lot of driving, but I was just trying to put, positive spin. You see a lot of, beautiful things out there on the road, that are like, oh, that's so nice to but like you can't take a picture. You
Because
can't
you're driving.
because you're driving. It's moving. The lighting. It's like there's a million reasons why it's bad.
Oh yeah.
But it's like it was just for you. You got to enjoy that by yourself.
If I was driving and I stopped every time I wanted to take a picture, I would never get to the destination I'm getting to.
Dude, back in the day, I used to pull over a ton and get out of the car and take
it.
pictures. Yeah. But not no more. Especially not on busy ass highways.
Do you feel like this is the best time to listen to music?
Oh, easily. Yeah. Like I think above, because like when I'm home, like I'll listen to music like if I'm cooking, or I'll listen to music if I'm like in between stuff. But like I very rarely will be like, let me just sit and listen to this music here. Mm-hmm. I will never do that. Very rarely. Like sometimes like it's late at night and I just want to sit for a moment because I've been working a lot. Mm-hmm. That's different. But I'm not trying to like listen to music. But dude, in the car, oh yeah. You be like really listening, like studying almost, like taking in everything, you know, all that riff that the bass player did right there, at this time signature or whatever, at this timestamp was like really dope, run it back or like, I don't know, man. Yeah, definitely. I mean, driving is like this monotonous thing. So like getting to enjoy music, especially new music, is always great. Mm-hmm. Especially when something like comes on that's a surprise that you weren't expecting on your shuffle. The radio might hit you with a gem that you've never heard. Or something that you haven't heard in a long time. Like
that's always a fun time.
Dude, yes, I was cleaning on Saturday at the crib. And I was playing some Wisin y Yandel, and that song came on. ¿Por qué me tratas así? Así? And I was like, I immediately had to turn that thing all the way up. All the way up, man. Which is weird because like I'm happily married, but that song is emo as hell. It's super emo. It was dope. Yeah, that was my thing for the week. I'm sorry to be long-winded.
No, that was
good.
Great answer.
That was good.
Thanks, Shannon.
How about you?
Let's see. Something that I enjoyed doing this week. The one thing that I am enjoying is that, so I work in a school system with middle schoolers. And what I am noticing is that for a lot of these students, this is where they're experiencing a lot of the first everything. Whether it could be first boyfriend, girlfriend, first actual fight, first heartbreak, just a lot of first everything. And it's just seeing that transition come, being from, they're still young kids, but, being under double digits coming to now, they're reaching that teenage, preteen to teenage here, and just seeing them change and seeing how dramatic these kids could be for everything. Bro. It's just like, man. But the fact that, like, I was thinking about this, is that even though these kids have parents, they spent more time with you than they do with their parents. They spent 8 hours with you in that damn school. When they get home, some of these parents may be there. Just think about it. They get home like around, let's just say 5. Maybe the parents are there. Maybe the parents are home from work. Let's just the parent gets home exactly when they get home. They may eat something. They may do their homework. And they got to get ready to go to sleep to go to school tomorrow. Tops 4 hours.
Wow.
Tops.
Yeah.
That's if the parent is there when the kid gets home. So most of the time, and I was thinking about that, is that no matter how much these kids may get to you, sometimes that what they're doing is just to get some kind of attention and to see how you would react. Are you going to be able to withstand that attention that they're giving you? Or are you going to say, F it, I want to get out of here? Because a lot of these kids are used to that already. I was like, see, he don't care about me. But when you withstand whatever it is they got and you stay there, it was like, I'm not going anywhere. They kind of start coming around. And I noticed that it took me a while. I remember when we had a podcast with Jalissa, I believe her name was.
Yep.
And she works similar to what I was doing. At that time, I was having a tough time. It was because I really didn't know the students, the kids. They didn't really know me. We were still kind of getting to know each other. So now, through all that time, from there to now, I have grown, they have grown. Like, they still test me from time to time. Like, today was a very testful day, but at the same time, I know what they're doing. Because, again, a lot of these kids, who knows what happened after they they leave those four walls with it, when they have this constant discipline and protection and all these things, do they get that at home? Do they get that outside of the school? So that, that little thing that happened to me. So going back to the original question as to what happened, it was just getting closer to my students, basically. That's what happened to me throughout this week. So, yes.
Right.
It sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot. I mean, even me with my 4 teens, like, I don't interact with them constantly because they're not home. Mm-hmm. They're really not home. So it's just different. Like you definitely have that chunks of time every day that you're like around these kids.
Yeah.
For better, for worse, right? Negative attention or positive attention, like, they need attention. Yeah. Right? So I'm sure that's a lot to deal with. So tip of the hat to you, Xander, for working with these kids, man. I'm sure they need it, but also they appreciate it, even if they don't vocalize it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Or they will appreciate it later in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys heard this before, but there's always seems to be this, even with artists, I hear that, man, I wish I had somebody when I was this age that can tell me this and the other. So I don't want to be like, hey guys, whenever you need something, I'll be there. Not that person.
The try hard guy.
Yeah, that's that, because that person is like, I will be like, get this guy away from me. I don't want to be that guy. But a lot of these kids do, like, they don't know a lot of things. They don't know, like, when I told these kids, hey, you're 14 now, you could probably get a job, just get a work permit. And they're like, what do you mean? How do I get that? And once you tell them, hey, you could actually earn money this summer, you're going to be 14. But they don't know what they have to do because they have no idea. Because they're not going to go, hey, mom, how can I get a job? Right. Hey, dad, I don't know if kids nowadays do that and ask their parents. So if they don't ask their parents, who are they going to ask? Because their friends don't know either. So a lot of these, some of their friends, some of these kids are, they get it, man. They go out there and get their money. I don't know how they do it.
But they're the unicorn.
Yes.
They're not the rule, right?
No.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that I don't know how to do it. I know how they do it. I'm just saying that how they get away with this. Because it's like, yo, you have like a damn full, like some of these kids have a full-time job and they do it. They hey, I got to get money. Because my house, so
you gotta respect it, right?
And that's what I'm saying.
I know you do, right?
Yeah,
it's just like, wow, like it is impressive.
So, but yeah, going back to, that question is just that, just being there for whatever it is, it's a lot more than what I think it is. Like these kids, like you said, sometimes they may not have that when they go home. Sometimes is I go back home and I go to my room and I close my door for the rest of the night,
right?
And that's it,
right?
You never know. So. But going back to it, Shannon, what is something that you experienced?
I have a really bad memory, so I'm trying to think.
It doesn't have to be something like life-changing. It could be literally anything. You got a new camera that works great, or hit a new edit.
No.
Did you hit a new edit? I want to hit a new edit. That sounds really fun, actually.
Yes.
Last week was just boring, man. I was just editing all week.
Okay.
Just getting stuff done. Actually, the good thing is, as a creative, so the good thing is I sent 2 videos out for approval, and it don't matter how good I think the video is. When I send it out, it's still that, like,
oh my God,
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Because one thing that I always have to not realize is I'm judging this edit based on my experience as a videographer.
Yeah.
So I'm catching like, when I filmed this, this wasn't exactly perfect, but I see it. Like it pops out of me like a,
right.
like crazy. So when I send an edit, I'm like, are they going to notice like these, whatever. It's like I try to overcompensate in other stuff, like in the audio and all the enhancements and stuff. But anyways, so I sent it out and I was hoping, you always get nervous. So I sent out 2 videos for approval, and there were actually some big clients that I had acquired a few months ago. And they're like, oh, these are amazing. I'm like, yes. So it's like a weight lifted. I'm like,
congrats, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Landing those whales.
Hey, sometimes you gotta get them. But
you sure do.
But I sent them out. They were excited. I'm like, good.
Nice.
got some credibility.
You got to take those wins, man. I mean, they feel good, you know, like you savor them, but then it's also like, all right, back to work, right? Because like you can only enjoy it for so long before like the reality of like, you got to keep that money train coming in, man.
Yes.
Endless grind. Yeah. Endless grind.
The hustle and bustle, man.
Let me look you up and down till you say stop. Remember that?
I do not know that song.
Oh, wow. Group Silk? You don't know who that is?
I don't even know who that is.
What the hell's the name of that song?
Group Silk?
Is it Silk or is it
the name of the group is Silk.
Oh. It's not H-Town?
No.
No, that's Knockin' Boots.
Right.
You're right. I
think I've heard of the name Silk. Never heard of it.
Meet It in My Bedroom?
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't mean to be dating myself on this podcast, but I do it every time.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, man.
Y'all know who. You guys know who you are. Like, we know our audience. Our audience is us.
Y'all some old farts, all of you guys.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, man. I mean,
I ain't hiding it.
I'm a baby amongst men.
That's damn right.
You know what? You know what is wild? I don't know where I saw this. It might have been on Facebook. It might have been on Instagram. But like one of the like professional dashboards, right? They had different categories for the age groups.
What do you mean?
So one of the age groups that I was in was something like established adult. I'm like, fuck out of here, man. What does that even mean? You know what I mean? Like you can't.
But it's accurate.
It's accurate.
That's what bothered you?
It bothered me because, man, they're like, yeah, we got the algorithm for you, bro. You just sit back and relax. We're just going to keep this content coming right at your face.
Established adult.
It was stuff like that, like teenager, high school, you know, it's just different stuff. I forget where this was. It was a dashboard. It was a couple years ago. But I remember, like, I feel like I looked behind the curtain too much. I'm like, too much. Back up.
Okay. Musically, let's say you're searching for music. You find something because of the algorithm. I'm sure you have done this before. It's like, oh, let me just click on this just to see how good it is. And you find something. What I've noticed about the algorithm is, okay, they keep finding all this music that I like. Do you have any idea how this works? How do they know that I like this song? It's like, damn, this is good. But it just keeps happening.
I can give you the bullshit version.
Go ahead, please.
Of this.
I would just like to know, how do you know this?
I know
not you, but just algorithm.
Smidge of this, like a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. So back in the Pandora days, when Pandora was like big, they were leveraging, like, I believe it was called the Genome Project, which was like a way to sound map music. And so they would go, okay, this music wave pattern looks similar to this other music wave pattern. It's probably in the same ballpark. Let's play that next. And it was very good, right? And so then you take that concept and then you apply AI to that, and you go, okay, well, give me a list of songs with that, you know, that are like this, that feature artists like these, and then you get like the tree effect of like the branching recommendations.
Makes sense.
And then oftentimes those recommendations are like mainstream, but then every now and then you get like some indie thing you've never heard in your life, and that thing that comes into your like, oh, this is dope. I love those when they happen. They don't happen all the time, but every now and again you're like, fire. Like I always just like stuff because like if you don't like it right away, you'll never hear it again. It will just be you heard it that one time. You're like, oh, what was the name of that song? It's gone forever. Like you never get it back.
True.
I always try to like the stuff I really like. You know, to train the robots. You gotta train them.
Yeah, man.
That was a great explanation, by the way.
Yeah,
thanks, guys.
They definitely get it now.
I'm a sales guy, so
that was good. You know what got me? The tree. The tree got me. That's when it clicked. I'm like, that's a great explanation.
Thank you. The branches. Yep. Did you want to talk about Don Toliver album on this one or on the next one?
I'm gonna pin that.
Okay.
Pin it.
I'm gonna pin it. The reason I'm gonna pin it, when it comes to like, let's say for example, when you gotta listen, hey, somebody tells you to listen to something. Usually, when I tell somebody, it's because that person they might mess with it. Sure. They might actually kind of mess with that genre. And maybe, like I said, like Shannon is saying, it's you guys are old farts. Maybe we got into that age where, and the reason why I say this is because I think I reached a ceiling in which I don't want to necessarily not listen to anything new anymore. Not that. I don't want to say that, but I have a very low tolerance for new music.
Okay.
Because maybe I reached like, I've heard this before, feeling. Like, oh, this sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Type of feeling. And I guess this is what I'm saying. Maybe I'm getting to that age where I'm old already, and I don't have a problem with going back to have a playlist that I've heard 10 years ago. I can play it and be completely satisfied with listening to music. So if you tell me, hey, here's a playlist that I've listened to 10 years ago to a playlist now, I'm more than likely going to play the playlist 10 years from now.
Yeah. I feel like most people would trend that way. Most, not all, but most.
But when you say most people that have gotten to that age already, or people?
It's the trope of everybody thinks that their era of teenage music was the best because that's you create the most ties to that music, right? So like naturally, like we like the 90s, separate from our opinion of it, is proven factual information of a great era of music. Proven factual. So it's not just our bias, but also there's some bias there. With that said, that applies. Like we were teens in the 90s, and as such, we have like a fondness in our heart for that music or that era of music, but also like the hip hop from that era, like the pop music from that era. Like there's so many like iconic things from that era. Full stop. So like, you know, older folks who prefer to, like, you know, I don't know, somebody who might be into like the Beach Boys, right? Like, you know, or Elvis, like the music of their youth, you know? So that applies, right? So listening to that old playlist, you're always going to get that feeling from it. I'm with you on that. Conversely, I like to listen to things that I haven't heard before, even if it sounds familiar. New take on old idea.
Oh, absolutely.
Something like that. You know what I mean?
Yes. And when I'm saying my list, it doesn't necessarily mean from like my teenage years. It could be something from the 2010, like the 10s, 2010. Wow. 2010s,
sure.
Whatever that's
like
called.
An older playlist that you curated.
So it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be old school from my teenage years. It could be something that happened 5 years ago. But what I'm saying is that nowadays, I don't know, the music just feels that it may sound cool, but it was like, I feel like I've listened to this way too many times already. And that's why I didn't want to start that with the Don Toliver, but I got a little bit of that feeling when I listened to it a little bit.
I mean, there was a lot of samples in there too, which kind of phone home as well, right? So it's like almost double dipping on the feeling that you're talking about.
I love the production. The production was actually really good.
Yeah.
That production was really good. But I got this Travis Scott feel way too hard. I just feel that the guy went to the music store and said, "What do you have for auto-tune?" And when the guy said, "I have," he said, "Let me have it all." Yeah. And he literally went and just took all the auto-tune and just applied it. And I was like, wow. That's not bad, but damn. I just felt that it was 90% auto-tune, and then the 10% was like maybe his voice.
Yeah, but I mean, gosh, we could put a lot of people under the bucket of auto-tune. Right?
Oh, that's the thing and that's why, and I would do the same thing that I'm doing with this guy. That's what I'm telling you. The only guy that I give auto-tune that mastered it, did it perfectly, was T-Pain.
T-Pain, of course.
T-Pain mastered it to a point that I don't think.
Auto-tune.
Yeah.
It was him.
A lot of folks can still do it. Like you said, there's a lot of folks that do it to a point where it's a little bit of auto-tune, or it could be this type of, like, a lot of auto-tune, which I think this guy just.
Like T-Pain made it a creative choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he could sing.
I think part of the reason why I wanted to bring up the Don Toliver album was because it was like, hey, here's some new music. And while I was listening to it, and this is a kind of a callback to if anybody's listening from back in the day, when we were talking about the Taylor Swift album, or when we were talking about the 21 Savage and Drake album, like when I said indistinguishable from song to song, like I had a moment of guilt where I was like, this album could fall into the category of indistinguishable from song to song. It just happens to be like the type of music that I might play in the background, at home, right? So I was like a bit more tolerance of that, because it was almost like I accepted that this is what it is, right? Oh, this is what it is. It's kind of like vibey background music that you don't really have to pay attention to. Like, it's not going ham, but also like the production was great. Like the sample choices that they had in the album were like really good. I'm like, oh, nice callback, you know, like a lot of nice little nuggets like that. So that's why I kind of like appreciate it a little bit more. Also had a lot of great features, you know? So like the project as a whole was like, all right, yeah, I can get behind this, you know? People did have mixed opinions about it, and definitely heard a lot of the Travis Scott stuff. Like, I heard somebody say like it was like Don Toliver's like a Travis Scott build, right? So like it kind of checks the box, or like the archetype of what Travis Scott is doing, which sure, right? You know, you can, I mean, it's the same. I don't know what the production companies are, but they are affiliated, if I'm not mistaken, right? So anyway, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
It's my hot take.
Yeah. Hot take indeed.
I do like that the bus stop song though. Can you play that real quick? Those 808s. That Blackstreet sample, bro. It's just, yeah.
That beat's fun.
That's good, right?
No, production wise, I could definitely do this.
Yeah, man. This is why I like it, because it's definitely like in Rick's lane of shit that I like to play, you know. So like it definitely was like me getting ready playing this kind of stuff. Play the one with WizKid. Of course, WizKid. My man don't miss.
She just wanna go dancing. Baby, tell me what you're hoping. In the end, know what open.
So the auto tune, right? Like, I don't know how much is being applied right here.
That's on there.
But it's there.
Oh, it's
Nice vibes, you know. That's it.
Give me the first song of this album. I forgot what it's called.
Me too.
No pole.
Not sure if this is the first song.
Yeah, this was different. Hold
It's
up.
a track list. It's not this one.
Do Travis Scott.
It's not this one. Forgot the name of it. We're live, guys.
We'll fix it in post. Don't even worry about it. There it is.
This one?
I'm pretty sure that's the first one.
No, this is the fifth one.
It's no pole is the first song. You were right.
This one's called Love Sickness.
Hold on. This is the one I'm talking about. This is Travis Scott right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
And again, there's nothing wrong with this dude. I just feel like I'm listening to Travis Scott.
Travis Scott's on one of the albums. One of the songs.
Is this the song?
No. I double checked just
Okay.
to make sure.
He was similar.
It's called Embarrassed, featuring Travis Scott. Yeah, there's definitely a couple skips on this album.
And just, again, I think this is a good album. I don't think it's a bad album. I just feel like I'm listening not to him, to somebody else, if that makes any sense. I'm listening to Travis Scott, but it's actually Don Toliver. And that to me is like, and I think that's where my age comes in. That is not allowing me to appreciate it, because my age is saying, I want to hear some originality. And that's the problem that I'm having.
All right, fair. I guess I'm not coming to Don Toliver for original. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I know it.
Right?
And that's
almost like you coming at it with this like,
with an your open arms,
right?
Just give it to me. And I get it. And I guess that's the problem with me is that when I want to listen to music, I don't want to listen to the same person that I've listened to before, I guess.
Would you like indie music? Like, don't think hipster indie music. Think just like independent.
Yes.
Right. So like, this guy, he could be literally anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
This could be John Smith, right? Who uploaded his album to SoundCloud. And we could say the same thing, right? Because there's a lot of like artists out there that put music out there that are like, well, you fit in this lane or you fit in that lane. You know, there's very rarely where you have like a breakout artist that's like super original, reinvented the wheel. Like those are the guys who pop off, obviously, because they're doing something different. But at the same time, it's like, you know, there was a nice use of some of the sampling, right? Which is part of the reason why I enjoyed it, right? Because it's like, you know, you're tickling my nostalgia nerve.
Absolutely,
you know? So it's
yes.
like I see what you did there in a lot of different ways, and you know, I liked it for that reason.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, if I have to listen to something within that lane, it probably will be Travis Scott before I pick him again.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of, but again, there's nothing wrong with that album. He's not a bad artist. It's just that I feel like I'm listening to Travis. It's that kind of, it's like if somebody starts to sound like Drake. Right. You gotta listen to that guy, you listen to Drake. But I get it. I get it. He's not a bad artist. It's not a bad. Definitely like the production more than I actually like the artist. Guess what I'm trying to say.
All right. Fair enough.
That's pretty much it.
All right.
That was it.
Good place as any.
I think it's a good time to wrap it up.
All right.
What do you think, guys think?
I'm down.
Let's wrap that up for a little bit now.
Time to land the plane.
See you guys in a bit.